Hey guys, how's it going? MichaelFitzTroy here. Today we're looking at New Titans, number 51, Who is Wonder Girl, part 2 of 5. Can't wait to show it to you, by Marv Wolfman and George Pérez, a classic comic book tale. Anyway, so if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get right into it. Okay, so like I said, this is the New Titans. Not to be confused with the New Teen Titans. The book did start out as the New Teen Titans, with issue 50 bringing the return of George Pérez to reunite with co-creator Marv Wolfman on the title. They dropped the teen. I think they figured that half of them weren't teens anymore, and it was kind of time to go in a new direction or whatever. I kind of like them always being called Teen Titans. I feel like Gar was probably still a Titan at this point. I don't know. Maybe whatever. I mean, I didn't think superheroes aged in real time anyway. So, this is post-Crisis on Infinite Earths. George Pérez had left the title to draw Crisis on Infinite Earths. It was such a great story, such a great, thing, game changer for comics. You know, pretty much it ushered in the, sort of big event comics and the maxi series, perhaps. I mean, I realize things like Camelot 3000 rather, preceded that, but more mainstream anyway with superheroes. So, Marvel would do their Secret Wars, and then they would just start doing all kinds of events and stuff, and good or bad, I don't know. Anyway, so I recently did a video on who is Donna Troy. Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of negated her origin a little bit, so they had to fill in some blanks and sort of disassociate her with Wonder Woman. But as one of my friends just pointed out to me recently, it kind of made no sense to cut ties with Wonder Woman, because Wonder Girl had been appearing as Wonder Girl, being called Wonder Girl, having a similar themed costume, and also making exclamations like "Great Hera" up until she learned that this is not her real origin. So we have Marv Wolfman and George Pérez, writers, co-plotters, penciler George Pérez, scripter Marv Wolfman, Bob McLeod, I finally did it. Okay, Bob McLeod, inker. I would definitely say he's more of a finisher. He kind of has very distinct looking inks, and you can always tell his inks on another penciler because he's a penciler himself, and I think a lot of that shines through. Some of my friends' comments from the last video, they didn't really care for Bob McLeod's inks so much over Pérez, and in a normal situation I would kind of agree, but since he's just doing breakdowns, I think they actually look pretty good. I think a lot of the Pérez attributes still come through. I mean, cute butts on guys is one of his hallmarks. Take it for what it is. I mean, this is Pérez inking the cover, and I do love his inks on his own pencils the most. But this is at a point where John Stracuzzi, who's doing this sort of painted airbrush coloring, is adding a lot of the shading and detail. So Pérez is doing a sort of more pared down version of his pencils in that regard. This is also a very busy time in Pérez's career. He's still writing Wonder Woman, and he's also working on, I believe it was Action Comics, doing writing and some kind of art contribution, maybe breakdowns and some pencils and covers, so he's doing 2 covers. He's busy. And, that is the main thing, that is the amazing thing about the legendary George Pérez, is that he can just, move mountains and make miracles happen, and will always be, and one of my first favorite comic book artists, and will always be forever and ever. I do love Bob McLeod's use of Zipatone screens here and there. That's cool. I like that. And like I said, this is definitely Pérez shining through every step of the way. His facial expressions, his character's mannerisms, his poses, his body shapes, and the Titans just look beautiful. And this art really is beautiful. I remember how thinking scandalous and sexy this was at the time, back in 1988. But this is like the direct market version, so I suppose they can get away with a little bit more. No comic code authority on this book. I don't think it had been abandoned at this point, not by several years, actually. But anyway, the whole point of the story is like we're retelling Donna Troy's origin, and tying her, instead of to the Amazons, to the Titans of Myth, and which will ultimately lead to her abandoning her Wonder Girl persona. I don't know if that's a good-looking baby or not. Notoriously, kids and babies are hard to draw in comic books. And even though John Byrne is one of my favorite artists, his children are really heinous. And that's pretty heinous, too. No offense. I mean, here I thought they could both draw everything, but I guess everyone has one Achilles heel, and let that be babies. The Titans of Myth, I don't know, not super exciting to me. I was just like, whatever with this whole story. I mean, I know they had to do something, but I think that there should have been a way to figure out how to keep her tied to Wonder Woman in some manner or fashion. I mean, I feel like she sort of is now, and she's been through so many incarnations and so many, like John Byrne went on to try to fix it again by making her sort of a mirror image of Wonder Woman, Princess Diana, and I actually liked that version the best. I thought it made the most sense. It explained why she would have the same powers and whatnot, and I like that. Although it didn't kind of explain why they didn't look exactly like each other. Black Orchids, so cool. Oh my god, I hope I find this in my collection. Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean. This was like one of the first like sort of edgy adult kind of comic books I remember, with like really cool different art, and it was so cool. Oh, Neil Gaiman. Oh, and here I thought, because I had never read Sandman, that I wasn't like too familiar with Neil Gaiman stuff, but I definitely loved Black Orchids, so hopefully that is coming, children. I just love all this, like, so there's this old Titan of Myth, I guess, coming to tell Donna, or is this, I don't remember, I haven't read this in forever, and forgive me for that. Oh, obviously, maybe it's a future version of Donna coming to tell her. Yeah, that kind of sounds familiar. Very pretty skyline. As you can see, the World Trade Center is still standing. Ooh, Danny Chase, Trigger. My friends know how I feel about Danny Chase. I mean, he really was the cousin Oliver of the Teen Titans, let's face it. I don't know what Marv was thinking, but not a great addition. He's no Kitty Pryde, I will tell you that. If you want to add youthful freshness to a superhero comic book team, that is not how you do it. This art is so cool. I love this. And this is Perez just doing like, you know, layouts. So cool, so fun. I remember just loving this story so much when it came out. I was so happy that Perez was back on the Titans after such a lengthy departure, having done Crisis and Wonder Woman. And although, hell, I'll take Crisis and Wonder Woman. I mean, I love Wonder Woman. His run on Wonder Woman is one of my favorite things ever. So that's the end of part 2 of the exciting Who is Wonder Girl post-Crisis. The New Titans, number 51. Thanks for watching. Please share my content. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I think that's it. I'll bring you more later. Thanks, guys.